Annyeonghaseyo, everyone! Welcome back to Kaja, Bhinggay. I am Rebecca Mendoza, a K-influencer from the Philippines, and this is my last mission for the K-Influencer Academy. Our topic for this month is a free topic, anything about Korean culture. And since I started this year with lots of K-literature fields, might as well share this journey with you, my fellow subscribers, fellow K-influencers, our managers in the Academy, and K-culture fans out there. I'm so excited to share with you a very special experience. Last September 11, at the KCC Library, I finally had the chance to meet Korean author Hwang, the writer of Welcome to Hyunamdong Bookshop. It was such a meaningful event organized by the Korean Cultural Center here in the Philippines. And as a book lover, I couldn't miss it. I also brought my copy of her book to get signed. So kilig. So, in this vlog, let me take you along with me to the event. From the program, to one of our book club represent, the Q&A, and of course, my personal meet and greet moment with Miss Hwang. So, Kaja!
This is a room full of book lovers and bookworms. And the KCC, I think you guys know, has its own book club, similar to what Yeongju has in her bookshop, right? Now that we know more about the book club, we're gonna get to meet one of them. Our book club has prepared a presentation for everyone this afternoon. Let me call on Miss Natalie Tabayan, who will be sharing her review of the book Welcome to the Hyunamdong Bookshop.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. So, I'm Natalie, one of the book club members of the Korean Cultural Center of the Philippines, and let me just hold the book for my emotional support. Actually, for today, thank you for giving me the opportunity, the time, and the space to listen to my story, which is becoming a bookstore, at least the realizations and things that resonated with me the most when reading Welcome to Hyunamdong Bookshop, one of the favorite books for our book club. And I know I'm quite pressured for the time, but there's a lot of things that resonated with us. For those that have read the book and for those that will read it, I'm very excited for you. But for this afternoon, I'm going to focus on things. And the first being, while reading this story, I feel like there's, as a teacher who's supporting kids who are struggling readers, and maybe I'm not Yeonju who's running a bookshop, but I'm a community worker who's trying to build a community library in one of the mostly densely populated area in Manila. So I felt like a lot of it were me, which brings me to the line, can you move to the next book? I'm sure a lot of you, when you've read this book, there's a moment like, parang ako yun? That felt like me. And this, like, specifically, like, I kept thinking that the protagonist is like me. It's comforting to know that I'm not the only one who feels this way. There's this certain joy, there's this certain struggle explored in the story of being a reader, of being a teacher, of running a community where book lovers or readers or simply people who's interested in reading come together. And it felt comforting and it felt supported reading that Yeonju was also going through that same journey. Which also reminds me that books and these spaces that books give us are our carriers. Can we move to the next slide for me? So, pardon me for using Lord of the Rings, but this reminded me, when I read the book, it reminded me of this line. Come, Mr. Frodo, I can't carry it for you, but I can carry you. I felt like the book and the spaces these books have brought us, they might not solve the problems that we have. They might not carry the burdens or they cannot hold us or hug us, but they carry us through their stories, through their friendship, through the love, through the comfort of their words. And along the way, you just keep continuing, you just keep pushing through. Or it gives you the time and the space to breathe and try to figure out what's your next steps. So I felt really validated when I read this part. So reading makes you deviate further from the textbook definition of success. Because though books don't make us go ahead of or above anyone else, they guide us to stand alongside others, which is why I'm very happy to have been part of the Korean Cultural Center Book Club for a couple of years already, because there have been, just like Yeonju and the bookshop, the books, it invites people to come together. It invites people to share their stories. And the books serve us as our maybe guides, they serve as our friends, and along those ways, we pull up people and we hear stories coming from the bookshop, where they might come from different points of their lives, but there's this space for them where they belong, where they feel safe enough to share their stories. And lastly, it's actually very interesting to me. I thought, why a bookshop and why not a library? But I feel like it's most of the book also focused on what it is trying to marry what you love with trying to earn money, right? And I really love this part. Yeah, it says there, if she and her employees loved books, wouldn't the love also be passed on? If books were the medium through which four of them communicated, built friendships and love, wouldn't the customers feel the same way? So it was very interesting to see how the Yeonju tries to marry loving books and then earning from it, because there's this certain conflict that runs along it. And I really like how it was discovered, how it was written. I feel like it also guided me along the way to realize not just to take a pause, to breathe, to recalibrate, but also to continue with the work that I do, because it's what gives me meaning. It's what gives me the satisfaction, and it's what is important for me. And I think aside from that, I really love that as you go into the community with other book members or readers, it's not just comfort, it's not just the safe space they bring you, but you also try to rethink the values that you close onto your heart. Which is why I wanted to end with this line. I feel like much of the book reminded me of this. And I hope you also have this. May we all have meaningful work and even more meaningful life beyond productivity and profitability. Thank you.
And it's just so warm and healing. And I feel like if you read it again, in a different phase of your life, different parts will jump out at you. It's really just such a beautiful book. And I also love how in the book it shows that books bring us together, like you said. And now, Ms. Hwang, after hearing what Natalie thought about your book, would you like to say anything, feedback or reaction to it?
저 가끔 그런 생각 해본 적 있는데, 제가 어떤 책을 썼어요. 그런데 어떤 독자가 내가 쓴 책을 첫 문장부터 마지막 문장까지 읽어줬다? 이게 과연 일어날 수 있는 일일까? 라고 좀 생각을 하게 되고, 이거는 기적이다 라고 생각할 때가 있어요. 그렇게 생각하면 독자를 만날 때마다 제가 원래 잘 없는 사람이어가지고 울컥하게 되고 해서 모든 독자를 만날 때마다 이렇게 기적이라고 생각하지는 않게 되는 거예요.
So, actually, the fact that I think to myself that there's a reader of my book and there's a reader who actually read the very first sentence of my book and up until the very last sentence, it actually touches me a lot. And because I'm a pretty much emotional person, whenever I get to see my readers personally, and when they talk about and actually have a chance to talk with them, it makes me very emotional, and I feel like I'm crying already. That's why I tend to not be very much emotional because it's like a miracle to me. I have actually think to myself, how could this possibly happen to me? You know, and considering having those thoughts, I actually try my best to not be emotional as much as possible.
그런데 이렇게 해외에 있는 독자분께서 제 책을 매우 의미 있게 읽어주시고 이렇게 많은 사람들 앞에서 제 책이 어떤 생각을 이끌어냈는지를 이렇게 해주시는 것 자체가 저에게 또 기적이잖아요.
And knowing that a reader abroad who has actually read my book and gave a very meaningful review or summary of the book and how actually it should bring about to the readers, it's already a miracle to me, right? So you actually presented a miracle to me today.
Wow.
그리고 저도 작가임이 이제는 독자예요. 그리고 저도 한 번씩 독서 운동을 하고 있어요. 독서 운동을 때마다 느껴지는 독자로서 느껴지는 창작적인 게 그리고 그 책을 통해서 이런 사람들이 생각이 너무 심각하고 나올 수 있는 것 자체가 감사하고 생각들이
And also, although I'm a writer, as a reader, I also attend to the reading club, and it's very interesting to have a share with the members about how overflowing emotions that you had while impersonating yourself in the book, and how exciting it is to share with others. And while actually watching your presentation, as a reader's perspective, I was able to relate to your feelings pretty much, and it was a very thankful presentation as well.
Meeting Hwang in person was truly unforgettable. As a book lover and part of the KCC Book Club, this moment really inspired me to keep reading and supporting Korean literature. A huge thank you to the Korean Cultural Center, Philippines for making this possible. And of course, to Miss Hwang for sharing her time and stories with us. Have you read Welcome to Hyunamdong Bookshop yet? If yes, tell me your favorite part in the comments below. And if not, I highly recommend you pick a copy. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Kaja Bhinggay for more K-culture adventures and hit the bell so you won't miss my next upload. Kamsahamnida! See you on my next vlog. Annyeong!